It's time to focus on the things you need, the things you deserve. You deserve a healthy body, supplements that get you moving and keep you moving, that make you feel good, look good, do good. And they shouldn't contain GMOs, artificial ingredients, or heavy metals, ever. Supplements that are clinically studied, use proven absorption technologies, are designed by scientists, and are ethically sourced and produced. Supplements with everything you need, nothing you don't. You deserve a company that you can trust, that's dedicated to safe manufacturing practices and third-party testing, that ensures the highest quality of effectiveness from extraction of ingredients all the way to the composition of the packaging. Wait a second. You deserve to see the process. You deserve a company led by a CEO with a deep belief in the power of people, dedicated to inspiring entrepreneurs to achieve success. A company with a phytonutrient chemist and expert on natural molecules who is obsessed with human health and has your best interest in mind to design its products. A board comprised of talented doctors from around the world. You deserve to be surrounded by people you trust and look up to. Empowered ambassadors that inspire wellness every day. Leaders who are rooting for you to be the best version of yourself. A community that works hard and plays hard. You deserve to experience adventures that take you around the world. And you deserve to be recognized for your hard work. It's time to get what you deserve. It's time to shift your focus. 3.
Well, hello and welcome. I am Adrianne Ruiz, and I am chiming in all the way from Austin, Texas today. And so I want to welcome you guys to another wonderful Wellness Wednesday. Every single Wednesday in the world of 3 here, we feature a medical professional and a health professional that we get to interview and talk about why they said yes to 3. But tonight is a little bit different. So for those of you guys who are still wanting to invite some friends or family on to take a listen in, you guys are in for a treat because we really don't want them to miss this special opportunity to hear directly from our Chief Scientific Officer, Dr. Dan Gubler. And he really is the brilliant mind behind the cutting edge formulations at 3 International. And so he's got decades of experience, but more than that, he's developed some of the most effective products that I have seen. So for my 2 decades as a personal trainer and as a health coach, what I found is that what you really need, you need simple systems for success. And when I saw what Dr. Gubler was putting together, my gosh, it's been almost 2 years now, 2 years on the 23rd for us. I cannot deny that I would have serious FOMO if I missed out on being a part of what he had put together here at 3, because I know that at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, you don't have much of anything, right? And so that's why I loved what he had put together, because he was making it so easy for you and I to have great foundational wellness every single day of our lives, you know? And so, yes, we are a very boutique-y luxury line of products with really incredible science-backed cellular absorption technology. And so, my friends, I ask, send a quick reminder because we are about to get started. Let your friends know that we are diving into the world of 3. So I have with me tonight, and I'm very excited to introduce him and really dive a little bit deeper into why he decided to start this incredible company and start these incredible products, this wonderful product line. And so it's an absolute honor to introduce our special guest tonight, and I've said his name, Dr. Dan Gubler. He is the Chief Scientific Officer of 3 International. Dr. Dan is a world-renowned formulator, medicinal chemist, and natural product expert with a deep passion for helping people live longer, healthier lives. He's traveled the globe studying the most effective healing plants and has brought that knowledge into the groundbreaking formulations that we have here at 3. So please help me welcome the brilliant Dr. Dan Gubler.
Hello, Adrienne. Hello, everyone.
Oh, so good to see you. How's your day going?
It's good. It's been really busy. Our convention is coming up, as you know, and we're getting ready. We have a lot of really, really exciting things that we're working on. And so we're working tirelessly to make sure it's an amazing event. So if you haven't gotten your ticket to join us in June, please do so because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I heard that there's some exciting announcements that are going to be made as we do every year, but I'm very excited about this year. I can see a lot of like, global impact happening through innovation with what you guys are doing right now. And so I see all the hard effort that's being put into, I mean, really, every day that I've called into the office this week, you guys are so busy putting this together. So I know it's going to be just a real standout breakout event for us. So thank you for working so hard and thank you for making time for this call and being on with us tonight. And, really, I kind of want to ask you a couple questions, Dr. Dan. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it. I love it.
All right. Well, so I gave a little, a little bit of a touch of your background and what you've done, having your, well, just honestly, the years of experience that have built up that have brought you to this point. I want to take us back a little bit as to what really inspired your passion for natural medicine.
Yeah, so I've talked about my grandfather before. A lot of you have probably heard, but really, my passion for science and wellness starts from a very young age. I mean, I've always wanted to be a scientist. When it comes to natural health, I've always had an affinity for nature. Even when I was younger, I would just love to go and be outside, outdoors. When it comes to natural ingredients and herbs and botanicals, I've always loved them. I remember during the summer days, we're just starting summer, right? My youngest is a junior, and so she just started her summer break. And I remember during those summer days, sometimes you're bored. Mom was like, "You got to get out of the house. You're driving me crazy," right? And I would beg my mother to go to her kitchen and mess around with her spices. So I would formulate and I would mix together different spices and whatnot and try it. And I was basically making like chai back in the day before I even knew what chai was, putting together the ginger and the cardamom and stuff like that. But I've always loved science. I've always loved formulation, putting things together. Just the thrill of having something new just excites me. If I was back in the 1500s, I would have loved to be like an open ocean explorer, like on Columbus's crew or something like that. That would be so cool. But I just love discovering the unknown.
Yeah. Well, you're an incredible formulator. And I love that the social media content that you produce that just makes it like you put everything in layman terms for the rest of us who might not know all the science, but need to understand like, oh, why do we need to have blueberries every day? Or, something like what are dates
Yeah.
good for? So I love what you've done. I think that's so cool that you played and made chai tea as a young kid. That's really neat. Even then, I feel like, wow, if you could come to putting spices together that came somewhat close to chai tea, you probably already had a really great affinity for what works together and what doesn't. It's not like you put something gross in there. So that's kind of cool. So you have really worked around the world. I mean, you've worked in the Amazon, Asia, Africa. Like, what are some standout lessons from those experiences?
One of the things that I love, each place has its own unique beauty and nature, right? Where you're in the desert, like Death Valley, where we discovered the desert plantain that we have in our Visage Super Serum, to Mullein that we have in Purify that's in the high mountains, to our mountain caviar in our Visage Creme Caviar Moisturizer. It's just fascinating to me that in all these different areas around the world and all these different locales, you have natural molecules there from Mother Nature that she's put there. There's really no place at all on the planet that I've been to that's devoid of molecules. Like even the Sahara Desert. I've been there, as part of my studies in Morocco and whatnot. And even then, you might think, well, it's just desert, it's sand dunes. But even then, you have oases, you have little places where plants are creeping up in between the dunes and whatnot, and you analyze those plants, and there's medicinal properties there. So for me, one of the biggest takeaways is there's exploration is an imperative. We need to keep doing it, and no matter where we go, if you know what you're doing, you can find something that can support health.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's really exciting. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the science behind three for a minute here. And I know that what sets us apart, as you always say, it's exploration,
Yeah.
curation, and absorption. But what really is like, if you could bring it down, what is the scientific foundation of three's product philosophy?
Yeah, I mean, our philosophy is about new. It's about innovation. And so if I could distill it down, it would be new molecules, new products, new results.
Oh,
So to flesh that out a little bit, right? We discover new molecules around the planet, and these molecules have unique health promoting properties. Science, we call it bioactivity, right? But these molecules promote health in ways not seen before. Then we put them in products and we combine these new molecules with other molecules that we've studied and used for many years in some cases. And then, because of that nature in the clinical studies that we do, like epigenetics, we find that these formulas have new results. So new products to put in new formulations, unique formulations, and because of that, you get new health results that people haven't seen before.
yeah. Well, and that is so innovative. And what it means is, I think what I like about it, what I'm hearing is you're never done. Like you're
Yeah.
still in exploration mode and you're putting these together in new ways that, of course, our bodies are absorbing them better. But I like that you're never done. Like you're still exploring, right? So
Yeah.
when we talk about what really sets three apart from other wellness companies, is it these formulations? Is it these delivery systems? Is it what's new?
Yeah. So when it comes to exploration, just to help us understand, we know more about the surface of the moon and we know more about Mars than we do about all the molecules in plants. And we know more about space exploration than we know about our genes, epigenetics. And hopefully that takes people back a little bit because it should, because we think a lot of, I don't know, I think we probably misunderstand and think that, oh, look, there's a plant there, right? So we know everything about that plant. Well, we've just only scratched the surface of the medicinal properties of these molecules in plants. So just the sheer volume of what's left to be explored, there's millions of molecules left to be explored. And that's not an exaggeration. There's literally millions of molecules. And that because as good as the molecules are that we have today, right? You think of curcuminoids and boswellic acids and resveratrol and the vitamins and minerals that we have and polyphenols. As good as those are, there's molecules that we haven't even discovered yet that I'm confident are 10, 20, 100 times more powerful.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. And so, what's different? I mean, like, how do you really utilize cellular absorption and advanced delivery technologies like micelles and liposomes and all of that? How do we really use those in a unique way? I mean, we only have like what, six ingestible products, and then we have our skincare line.
Yeah.
And so you've formulated these incredible products in a way that people are experiencing incredible results in shorter amounts of time. And so I'd love for you to touch a little bit on the delivery and like why is, why is collagen hydrolyzed and micronized versus turmeric being, liposomal or something, like how do you just
Yeah.
know, but explain a little bit of that to us.
Oh, that's a fabulous question. We get excited about exploration and new molecules and whatnot, and that fires me up. And it's important. However, we need to realize that if these molecules can't get into the cell, they're of no use. So what? You find a molecule that's 100 times more powerful with anti-inflammatory properties than curcuminoids. But if it can't get into the cell, then you're done. You're finished. And so absorption really is one of the key tenets of what we do. Absorption is the magic sauce that makes everything work because the cell membrane is so finicky, it's so particular about what it lets in. And that's good because the cell membrane is responsible for keeping the body alive. You think what would happen if the cell membrane would just randomly start to let anything in? The body would collapse and it would die in a nanosecond. It would be overcome, it would be overwhelmed. And so that cell membrane is so particular, it's so stingy. It's kind of a little crazy at times, a little on the fritz, kind of like the airport security guard that's a little bit too crazy, right? That even though you show your 9 different forms of identification, they're like, we won't let you in. Because, the cell life depends on it. And so the funny thing, kind of a paradox, is even though there's a molecule from a plant that could promote health of the body, sometimes the cell won't let it in because it's a bit questionable. It doesn't know for sure. We know for sure. We've run clinical studies, we've run safety studies. We know, but the cell membrane is just a little protective. It's a little pessimistic. And so, in order to get it in, we need to use different technologies. And the thing to realize is molecules have all these different characteristics. Just like we have different characteristics and traits and whatnot, molecules are all different. And when it comes to their absorbability, molecules are different. Some molecules are more absorbable than others. Some molecules just fly right through the cell membrane. They're able to do that. Most of them can't. Some of them are really hard to get into the cell membrane. The other thing when it comes to molecular characteristics, some molecules are really small. Some molecules are medium sized. Some molecules are large. And so the point is, if you want to get these molecules through the cell membrane, you need to use different absorption technologies. You can't use one, right? So like liposomes, so you mentioned micelles. What a great example, right? Micelles are amazing. They're good. They have good properties. But in order for a molecule to fit into a micelle, it needs to have a certain polarity associated with it. It needs to have a delta charge of about 1.5. And it needs to have a molecular weight of about 80 to, 4 or 500. If it's bigger than that, it won't fit in. If it's smaller than that, it'll just leak out of the micelle. And some molecules are just ornery. They don't like micelles. They don't want to be confined. They're free spirits, So that's why we need so many different cellular absorption technologies. And that's why we have 11, 12 different cellular absorption technologies in our products. So if someone tells you that they use, micelles or liposomes and it's the end all be all and they use this and it's enough, yada, 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 they just don't understand absorption.
Yeah, because what you're really saying is you've got to use the right delivery modality for the right nutrient A because the cell is so picky, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is it going to be absorbed and in what way does it need, how does it need to be formulated for better absorption? And I really appreciate you sharing that because, what we're really asking when I ask a question like that is why is it important for a wellness product to work at the cellular level? And, you're answering it in a way where it's all about, it's not really what you're eating, it's what you're absorbing. Will you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like you said, you aren't what you eat, you are what you absorb. And we talk about the cellular level. One thing that really makes what we're doing here at 3 so unique and so different is we're not just working at the cellular level, we're taking it a step further. We're working at the molecular level. Because when you pare it down, what is that cell made of? It's made of molecules, right? The body is made up of 10 to the 28th molecules. So one with 28 zeros behind it. I think that's octillion is the technical term for that. But the body has 1 octillion molecules. And so the approach that we're taking a molecular approach. Because when you break the body down to its simplest form, it's made of molecules. I guess you could break it down to atoms, even further. But when it comes to functionality, things that actually do things in the body, it's molecules. And a molecule is 2 or more atoms put together. And so with the molecules that we're using, we're discovering, we're treating the body with molecules.
Yeah.
And that's a really unique, powerful paradigm shift that a lot of people aren't doing, right? Most people are looking at the cell or the tissue or the organism as a whole, right? And so it's interesting when a lot of people are saying, well, why do our products work equally well for men and women? And they do. They work equally well for men versus women. Well, the reason why is we're focusing on molecules. And when you go down to the molecular level, men and women have the same molecules. And
Wow.
so, I mean, obviously there's different things as you build up with hormones and whatnot, and and we work with epigenetics and different things like that. But really, what makes us unique is we work at the molecular level.
I mean, yeah, when you said that, I was like, wow, I was surprised to hear that actually, that is the base of it. That's how you can give everybody, 6 key products in a skincare system. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female or whatever, you're able
Yeah.
to absorb the products appropriately for your daily needs. We've had incredible calls for both male and females, like where it's sort of geared towards, what are certain things that we're going through, especially when we age and, we're trying to age more gracefully and at the same time be proactive about what needs need to be met in order to do that, right? And because I think we're living longer nowadays too, we're all wanting quality of life, quality of health, quality of life. And so addressing it on the molecular level really only makes sense. And you know, it's crazy. It's like everybody's an expert now, right? You jump on YouTube and there's some new doctor talking about some new technology and it's third party tested, so it must be good. But every single time I'm like, but that's, you know, it's not, they're not you doing what you're doing. Just
Yeah,
hands up, they're not doing what you're doing. They're not going at it from a molecular standpoint. They're getting the certifications, and everyone's like, "Well, I read about it, so it must be good," you know. And there is something to be said about, you know, not everybody's going to do a deep dive, but how do they feel? And so sometimes you can
yeah,
feel okay on those, but usually not for very long amounts of time. And the longer I'm on three, the better I feel, and that says something, right? Most people will start a system, and within, you know, 90 days to 6 months, they're kind of done. You know, they're like, "Oh, I'm okay. That was fun. You know, I'll go back to my naturopathic doctor later or something," right? And do 64
right.
more capsules, you know? So I love how what you've formulated is not only on the molecular level, it's being cellularly absorbed, but you're keeping it simple with foundational wellness. And so that's something I kind of want to ask you a little bit about. How are these products being received? How are three products being received, like sort of varied by region? You know, you go to Asia a lot as well. Those are countries that we're open in currently. And so, you know, kind of, is it like consistent across the globe in terms of like nutrition and regardless of geography, like people are loving the experience on these products?
That's a fabulous question. When I've formulated products before, one of the things that's interesting is when we go around the world is people will say, well, that product works for Americans, but we're German, or we're from Asia, or we're from Africa and whatnot. And so therefore we're different, right? And we have different genes or different epigenetic profiles and whatnot. You know, but again, when we're working at the molecular level, it's all the same. And one of the beautiful things that's validated that is it doesn't matter where around the world that people have taken our products in Japan, you know, in Jakarta, Indonesia, in Missouri, right? In Canada, wherever people are taking our products, they're seeing the same powerful results. Because again, it doesn't matter where we live in this beautiful planet, on this beautiful planet, we're molecular and we're the same. So therefore, they should work the same. And we found that as we travel around, they do.
Mhm. Yeah, and I like hearing that because you're right. I mean, this is not, this is, you know, my third company I've ever been in, and you know, we've built out incredible global organizations. But one thing I realized is we would get questions like that. And I thought, well, aren't we all a body? You know, we're all human body, but it's different how some other companies will formulate and they'll do different things in different regions. And that's one thing that I just absolutely love. Again, it's the consistency across the board with what you're creating. And so I like that. It sounds like three really remains culturally relevant and really it's scientifically rigorous across different countries. I mean, in other words, it's the same, but we're all at that molecular, you know, level.
Yeah,
So
and
I
the clinical studies that we've done have been on people from all around the world, right? We've done studies for people here in America. We've done studies of people in New Zealand and South America. And what we found is that as long as your, you know, species is Homo sapien, you know, the products work.
Yeah, that's so true. And you have incredible studies, and you worked really hard to get some incredible studies put out, so that we, the field, could really dive in as well and see what sets us apart. Not only are we listed in the PDR, that's the prescriber's digital reference, which I know is no small feat. Not You can't just buy your way into the PDR. You know, you have to have several clinical dossiers and fact sheets, and you have to list every ingredient, what it does to the human body. So I know that you have to be certified as well. I mean, we have a huge, you know, amount of health professionals and medical professionals who are not only just using Three's products, but they're out there like promoting them for themselves, which doesn't always happen. You know, medical doctors have very little time, but you opened the door for that. You made that possible by saying, hey, it would be important for us to be in the PDR. And then you have these three studies. Do you want to talk a little bit about just briefly about each study and why those were so important for you?
Yeah, for us, as a scientist, it's all about data, right? A lot of people will say something, and I say, well, show me the data on that. You know, I like to call people's bluff a little bit. You know, like on social media, you talked about social media influencers and people sharing things. You know, there's different things that people are talking about, and other people they listen to those people and they think it sounds good, so they start parroting what they're saying, like a parrot, like a bird. And pretty soon you have people that are saying the same thing, but there's no scientific basis behind it. When we started three, we were very clear that we wanted to do things the right way. We wanted to do things with integrity in all parts of the organization. And when you're talking about integrity in science, what that means is that if you're going to say something, you need to back it up with data. So we've talked about with our Visage collection, for instance, we say that our product is the world's first neurocosmetic that supports health of the skin-brain axis. Well, that's a big statement. But we back it up. We have studies showing that our products, when you incubate them with brain cells and nerve cells, they actually start producing dopamine and serotonin and DHEA. So we've shown that the science works. When we talk about, epigenetics, the way that your genes are expressed, we're the only company that's published a study in the peer-reviewed literature, the Journal of Functional Foods and Health and Disease, a very powerful, very good journal. We've shown that our products regulate epigenetics. We've shown that our products are bioavailable, right? If you look on marketing when it comes to a supplement site, you go on Amazon and they're like, yeah, our product's bioavailable, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm like, well, show me the data, really? Show it to me. And the way that you show bioavailability, the top way is what's called a CACO2 assay. That's what pharmaceutical companies use. When I worked for pharma and I made molecules, that's what we would do. The next step is we would test its bioavailability. And so we use the same clinical test that pharmaceutical companies use when they're determining if a molecule can be a drug. And basically, what that means is the validation that's there, the high science that's there. And we've shown through this CACO2 study that all of our products are anywhere from 3 to 9.5 times more absorbable than other supplements.
And you feel it.
And that's
I
why
mean,
people feel it. That's why they're
yeah,
feeling the
they do.
great results all around the world, is because when something can actually be absorbed in the body, magic happens. The body's a miracle, right? You just give the body what it needs and it takes care of itself. It's like that star running back or that star basketball player or hockey player or football player. You give them the ball and they're going to score. They're going to take your team on to the victory. The body's that way. Lifestyle factors can cause the body to be hampered and hindered in its ability to take care of itself. Our products, when you take all of our products, you get 1,500, 2,000 different molecules. And these molecules, the lifeblood of the body. So you give the body these molecules, it knows what to do, and improved health follows.
Wow. I mean, you do. I mean, I do phone calls every day for three, and I hear the best stories. And that's honestly, it's what keeps me going, is I'm so obsessed really with hearing what three has done for somebody else in their life. And I ask people that all the time. I'll call them within 5 days. I call it my 5-day miracle phone call. And they laugh at me. They're like, nothing miraculous is going to happen in 5 days. I'm like, oh, yes, it is. I'll be calling you, and I call them, and without a doubt, every single time they're sleeping better at night. They're feeling fuller longer. They're not having, chronic inflammatory issues like they were before. Woman, just today, I talked to a woman, she's an esthetician. She leans over patients all day and she had a lot of, back and hand issues. She starts in on the Revive. She's like, whoa, I can feel that. Not only can I feel the turmeric in my body, she's like, I feel that. It's only been like a week, So, I mean, pretty fun stuff that, you're making such an impact in people's lives, daily lives. And so, I mean, it's fun for us too, when we say yes to being a part of three and building a business here with three and really sharing our story, that we get to hear so many incredible stories. So that's fun. Yeah. And, really, I was going to see if we could highlight a few key products here. I know in one of our wellness groups, we're starting like a 10-day weight loss, wellness, little campaign. And so I kind of wanted you to touch on one of the products that we're going to be sharing in there, which is Purify. And Purify, without a doubt, Dr. Dan, is one of my favorite products. It's just, there's ingredients in there that I nerd out about,
Yeah.
it's like we all have these primes and these pumps in our body, and you nailed it. You nailed it when it came to that formulation on being able to help the body eliminate better, in our day and age and in our world. I feel like I'm talking too much. Okay, tell us a little bit more about why did you put all those amazing ingredients in Purify and what can people expect from it?
Yeah, so a little bit about the concept of purify. We talked about absorption a few minutes ago, about how it's so critical for nutrients to get into the cell to be absorbed. Well, the same thing is true with the body. The body, if the body is to function properly, it needs to be able to remove toxins. So if you think about a lot of the organs of the body, these are called elimination organs because their job is to remove toxins. The liver, the kidney, the lungs, the intestines, the gallbladder, you look at these functions, all of these, they're purification devices. They're meant to keep the body continually pure, to filter things out. And so if that's not happening, then nothing good in the body can happen. One of the most important is weight loss, right? Weight loss is a side effect of bringing the body back into balance. And so if the body can't lose, if the body's full of toxins, it cannot lose weight. Physiologically, there's no way that it can lose weight. So a lot of good things that we want to happen in our body can't happen unless we remove toxins. And that's why Purify is so powerful with the chlorophyllin, with the silymarin from milk thistle, with the humic and fulvic acids, with the burdock, with the mullein. Artican from burdock was one of my favorite molecules. And you put these together, number one, then you make them highly absorbable. Number two, and with that, you have unique, powerful molecules from mullein and others that we've studied and milk thistle, and you have a winning combination. You have a powerful product. And what I love about Purify is it's so demonstrable too. Along with Revive, you mentioned Revive, how demonstrable it is. I would put Purify in that same category.
Mhm. Yeah, you're getting me excited. Like honestly, I talk about Purify a lot. I notice how much I do. Back when I had a coaching program for women called MetaDiva. New fact about me, Dr. Dan.
I love it.
I know you got to be a diva. But anyways, no, I would coach women who were, experiencing hormonal imbalances. And also, I would all the way to doing physique shows, NPC shows and IBBFF and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I would get them fired up, but I was practically piecing together my own Purify. That was, a decade ago, right? I haven't done that for a decade, but I mean, I was literally piecing together Purify for them before they went out on the stage, 2 weeks prior, all that stuff to prime those pumps, prime the kidneys, prime the gallbladder to release, prime the liver to work more, and function more appropriately. So I think that's why I nerd out about it too. It's so beautiful. It was like,
Yeah.
couldn't get any better. You did it. Okay. Let me move on. Let's talk a little bit about Vitality, which is another one of my second favorite product. They're all my favorites. People, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. But I love Vitality because it is the first product that I took. I was using another company's products for 16 years, or no, 12, sorry, 12 years. And I thought I had the best of the best. And I was doing cocktails of vitamins every day. And it was just my AM and PM pack of vitamins. So when I started the Vitality and looked at it, Dr. Dan, I was like, this is so tiny. Like, is this even going to do anything for me? Am I going to feel anything? I was used to just, taking tons of pills, but that little packet of pills. So, I mean, really, in 2 days, I felt better than I had in 12 years on my other company's products. So why is Vitality such a standout product?
Yeah, first of all, it's absorption. You don't need a lot if it's absorbed in the body.
Right.
And so that's why with those four capsules and that one omega soft gel, we can give the body everything that it needs, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, the probiotics, the prebiotics, the chlorophyll. And I'm going to mention something postbiotics. I mentioned
Yeah.
that a little bit, but because of our yeast glycoprotein matrix technology, this GPM technology, what comes along with that is postbiotics, right? So prebiotics are the food that good bacteria like to eat. Probiotics are the good bacteria themselves, and postbiotics are the molecules that the good bacteria make. And so, in a lot of these studies with the gut microbiome, when they're saying, these bacteria can improve brain health and heart health and blah, 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 well, is it the bacteria or is it actually the molecules the bacteria make? Postbiotics. And it's looking like it's actually the bacteria that the molecules make that's causing the physiological effect in the body. And so there really aren't any other multivitamin. I hate to use that word, but we'll use it for our discussion. There really aren't that many other foundational health multivitamin like products that have postbiotics. And
Yeah.
so that's really cool.
No, it's the coolest. Honestly, I hate to say I was such a skeptic about it, but now I tell people every day, did you take your Vitality? And as soon as they do, like to me, that's like the one product that can be built upon every single day because we're eating, this much food, we're only getting this much nutrition, and you take that little packet of pills, and all of a sudden you're getting this much nutrition, and it's like I've stopped going for a second or third, energy drink or coffee in the afternoon. I don't need a tea. I'm feeling all right, for the most part. But on the days if I forget to take Vitality, whoo, I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. Also, I notice a lot of people, they stop overeating a lot when they take Vitality on a daily
Yeah.
basis because they're getting more of what they need. And that's a huge benefit that I hear almost all the time. I heard it again today. So,
Yeah.
somebody's like, I'm not eating the whole bag of popcorn after dinner anymore. You know how you have dinner and then you have after dinner, right?
That's right.
I love that it's helping with that, and it's really changing the game there. So that's a standout product.
Right.
Okay.
Well, one thing real quick, the reason why, that we're not eating as much is you look at our epigenetic studies, and we've actually shown that
Right.
Vitality can downregulate GLP-1,
Yeah.
right? And GLP-1 is directly related to appetite, to society, to satiety, not society,
I
satiety.
say the same thing.
To satiety, right? It reduces appetite. And
Mhm.
so isn't it cool that when you take Vitality, you're feeling and you're experiencing that, which just validates our epigenetic study that
Yeah.
what we're studying and what we're showing is true. And it is played out in the body.
Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball at you because you mentioned GLP-1.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a curveball. What would you do? Like if you were, let's say you're in a situation where, you need to lose weight. You need to detox. You need to, you're looking for a fresh start, in other words. Like what are some daily wellness habits along with the products and the fact that, we can say that, taking Vitality, lowers GLP-1 naturally.
Yeah.
Um, how would you structure your day with the products if you were looking to lose weight and feel better?
Yeah, so what I would do is with the products as well as with food, I would take the products within about a 12-hour window.
Okay.
But that said, whenever you take our products is fine. If you want to optimize it, taking them within a 12-hour window, but more important than that is the food that we eat.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, and it's not just what you eat, it's when you eat. So we talk about intermittent fasting. The important thing is this eating window, that when you eat food in a day, you want to compress it as much as you can. You want to move it anywhere, if you could do 12, 10 hours, 8 hours, sure, that's great. But even just 10 hours, right? If you start eating at 7 and then you end your dinner at 5 or 8 to 6 or something like that, that has huge ramifications when it comes to health and wellness. That actually helps to regulate GLP-1 as well. So it's not just what you eat, it's
Mhm.
when you eat that's important.
Mm. I love hearing that because, I think, and here's the other thing I want to ask you. Is it necessary? Could you take more than one Vitality a day? Would that be helpful with the GLP-1 if it's something you're really struggling with, or do you not recommend that?
Yeah, no, we recommend using what's on the box, the recommended use. If you wanted to take more, you should go to your doctor, right? At your next doctor checkup. You could tell the doctor, show them. It's always good to show them number one, that it's in the PDR. And number two, show them the label. Say, hey, I'm taking this. It's from an amazing company called Three, all the products in the PDR. I'm taking one of these, and you can see the percent daily value. Is it okay if I take two? And the doctor, based on your health circumstances and whatnot, will be able to give you good advice.
Okay, that's perfect. That's lovely. And how amazing and also unique is it that we can go see our medical professional regularly and also have them be able to search the products that we use in the PDR. So that's really
Yeah,
unique.
it's
I love that.
huge.
Yeah, thanks for recommending that. All right, now I have a couple more, just a few more things I want to ask you, and that is, what's your vision for the future of three and for global wellness?
So our vision,
Uh-huh.
there's 8 billion people on the planet. Our vision is that every single person on this planet has the opportunity to try our products and benefit thereby. That's my goal. I believe in these products. I know we as a family, a three family, we believe in these products. And so I'm just not content. And I won't be content until everybody at least has an opportunity to try the products. Now, everybody has their agency. They could say no, no, thank you, whatnot, and that's okay. But we want everybody to have the opportunity to try these products. Just think about what would happen if everybody was taking our products every single day. I mean, you look at the clinicals that we've done with bioavailability and epigenetic changes and supporting a healthy inflammatory status in the body. Just think what would happen if every body on the planet was experiencing those benefits on a day-to-day basis. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me. It just makes me smile. Just think if that would happen. And so that's my vision. Daniel shares the same vision. That's our goal. And the great thing too is, there's with the business opportunity attached to this, not only can you help people to feel better, to look better, to sleep better, to shed some of those pounds, whatever their health goal is, we can help them get there. But then they can also take care of their family and do some great things in the business realm as well. I think it's just a perfect marriage and a perfect opportunity for all the people on the planet.
Yeah. I mean, you've built an incredible line of products so far. I'm so excited about it, even down to the skincare, which I know I had voiced to you. I was like, do we need skincare like that? I just didn't get it. I did not understand the need for the neurocosmetic. And now I'm literally glowing, you guys, like literally.
Yeah.
And the product is bar none. Now that I know the science behind the skincare, not to digress or whatever in this conversation, but that is one thing that everything that you touch turns to gold. It seems like everything that you really put attention to makes such an impact in people's lives, and so they can start counting on three to have a standout experience, and that's something that makes honestly the business easier, right? Because for everybody that I talk to, I would say for every 10 people I talk to, 9 have had incredible results, and the 10th person hasn't opened their box yet, and so I'm like, put it in your mouth. Let's go. So, put the multivitamin in your mouth. And so, but I'm so thrilled and so honored to be on this journey with you guys. I know that Three is going to be not, a multi-billion-dollar company that absolutely is going to reach, billions of lives. And so I'm looking forward to the day that Three is a household name. I'm, excited for that moment to be able to, walk around in my own community and I can say Three and people are like, oh, you mean like the product instead of the number, Three. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Are you on it yet? So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, so you guys, thank you so much, Dr. Dan, for tonight. I know I kind of hit you with some different questions, not your normal interview, but and we did use slides. And so for those of you guys who are on, I hope that you go with how you felt. I hope you go with how the information made you feel, knowing that what Dr. Dan has put together is absolutely impeccable. And you should expect to have a wonderful result with it as you continue on it. I would say 30, 60, 90 days on the product. Just don't stop until you start seeing those miracles. Like that'll start in 5 days, I promise. 5-day miracle phone call coming up for those of you guys who are new and are looking to get started. We have incredible videos that Dr. Dan has pieced together and put together. So even though you're on here with us tonight, the person that invited you on really cares about you. They connected with you for a reason. Ask them, say exactly what are all the products. I know we only talked about 2 and kind of the skincare line and some Revive and stuff, but have them send you a link from their app on the products so you guys can do a deep dive into them. And then don't be afraid to just order and try and start putting the products in your body. And, yes, we can give you tons of information, but at the end of the day, it's all about your personal experience. And honestly, it's the best thing in the world. All we do is share how the products make us feel, and the company pays us to do that. This is word of mouth marketing, and so that's what's so fun about being in this is being able to help everybody with that as well, like Dr. Dan said. So next week we are going to have another incredible Wellness Wednesday, and we're here for you. We are honestly one big team. Three is one big team, and so we're going to continue to provide you with incredible information and beautiful stories to share about how the the three products are being impacted in, our friends and our, people we're meeting even just online and how that's affecting them. So thank you so much, Dr. Dan. Any last words for us tonight?
Yeah, I would say just trust us.
Yeah.
We have the science. You don't need to be a product expert. Sometimes when we're excited and passionate about something, we really want to dive in and we want to learn about epigenetics and cellular absorption, and we want to, you don't need to do that. Just trust us. Take the products, share the products, and feel the benefit. I'm a big fan, and Daniel, our amazing CEO, who I love and would follow anywhere. We're preaching simplicity. Sometimes we make it more complicated than it is. Like you said, Adrian, just have people try the products. Once they try the products and get them into their belly, and then they disseminate into their system, it's a beautiful thing. The products do their job and they work for themselves. So, we don't need to become intimidated or think that we need to be this or that before we share. Let's just keep it simple. These products, very simple, right? Look better, feel better, have glowing skin, support healthy inflammatory status in the body, lose weight by removing toxins. There's just very simple messaging, right? Vitalite, everything you need, nothing you don't, right? They're really simple when we boil it down, that I just encourage simplicity. And when we're simple, that's when we're going to have success. You think of some of the most successful businesses and different things around the world. The reason why they're so successful is they've made something complex very, very simple. So we have something complex. Now let's make it simple, and we're going to see great results. And we already have, and we'll continue to see great results.
Thank you so much. You're just the best. Thank you. Thank you for all you do for all of us. And we're just so grateful for you. So, all right,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Night. We'll see
Bye.
you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.